Good morning, you beautiful people. We are on vacation this week, and I want to tell you two quick stories, and then I'm going to tell you about why those stories worked. We were driving down here. We have a toddler. She is awesome. She is, for the most part, pleasant and cooperative and really great energy. And it's about an hour and a half drive to get to the beach from our house. And for that hour and a half drive, which we've done before, she and I, she was, again, mostly pleasant, but occasionally would drop her stuffy and get upset, or get hungry and get upset. And this story is about how I managed my stress during the time that she was distressed. Because we got the stuffy, or we gave her a snack, and she was fine. But I notice for myself, when she starts to whine or complain, that I get tense. Right? I can feel my jaw clench up. I can feel my shoulders tense up. I can feel my blood pressure rising. And I'm going to share with you something called a bright spot. So what I do in those moments now, and I can do this more regularly because I acknowledge it and I recognize it and I can repeat it, is I will say to her, this is hard. And this is way more for me than it is for her. For me to regulate my emotions and my nervous system. I will say, this is hard. This is really hard. We have done this trip before, and we're going to do it again. And we can do hard things. And whether or not that calms her down, that certainly calms me down. I can feel my jaw relax, my shoulders drop, my blood pressure lowers. Right? If only for a couple minutes, and then if she starts again, I can feel it happen again, and then I say the same thing. Okay? That is what we call a bright spot. It is a strategy that worked. It is tiny, granular. I'm standing on the shoreline right now, grains of sand, granular. But it worked. And since I acknowledged it and I can repeat it, and I know that it worked before, it's probably going to work again. So now I can expand that to other situations that we're going to find ourselves in. So that's the first story. The second story is for Hank. Hank is our dog. He's awesome. Again, for the most part, pretty pleasant, pretty cooperative, very playful. He's the best. And when a new person comes to the house, or the doorbell rings, or he gets excited, he barks, and he is loud. He's a Labrador. He is loud. He will lick you to death. Right? He's not aggressive at any capacity, but he is loud. And when the baby's crying and the dog is barking, again, my jaw tightens up, my shoulders tense up, right? And I can feel my blood pressure rising. And this worked the other day. It's the first time I did it. I felt myself get stressed. I said, Hanky, lower the energy. And immediately, mine dropped. And I was able to take a deep breath, and I was able to use other strategies of I was tense in this situation, and then it dropped it. And once my nervous system got regulated, okay, and I felt calmer and in a better place to help intervene for him, I could intervene for him, right? I could grab his collar, I could take him outside, I could do whatever the heck was going to work. Those are what we call bright spots. And I will get into this in another video. I won't get into it here, but bright spots are a way that we can change behavior that talk to the logical side of our brain. Okay, we have two sides of our brain. There's the logical side, which knows what we could and should do, and there's the emotional side, which is we're not doing that. We're afraid. It's primitive, right? We're afraid. We have to fight or flight. And the logical side knows, we don't have to fight or flight this anymore because we're safe. But the primitive side is how do you know that? Okay? So, that is called directing the rider. When you find a bright spot, which is what I did, because I was able to regulate my nervous system and then recognize what happened to regulate my nervous system, and now I can repeat it. That is tremendously important to be able to do in a behavior change, in a short-term and a long-term behavior change. So that's the example for managing stress. I'm going to go through a whole bunch of strategies over the next couple of weeks on these granular, okay? I got sand right here. These tiny ways that we can help regulate our environment to change habits that we are actively trying to change because we are swimming upstream. Being a human in 2025, everything around us is designed to stress us out. Because usually when we're stressed, That emotional side of our brain is like, buy the flood insurance, even though there's no more likelihood than there was before that there's going to be a flood, right? But companies, trillion-dollar companies, prey on that emotional, primitive side of our brain. And sometimes we need their products, but a lot of times it's just a scare tactic to force us into giving them money. Okay? And money sure is a form of currency. I think more valuable forms of currency are your energy, your attention, your time, your effort. Okay? These things that those two stories, $0 from my bank account, $0. Lots of energy, attention, time, and effort. Lots of it. Okay? So be on the lookout for more stories like this. If you like them, please tell me, and tell me what you like about them. And I want to know from you guys, what has worked for you? Can you recognize situations in your life and your time that's a bright spot that you can acknowledge, repeat, and celebrate? The other part of this too is like, have someone to do it with you. Nick and I could do this to each other all the time. Nick's my husband, right? Hey, I learned a lot from watching you interact with our daughter in the car. Right? It was really cool to see you calm yourself down, and that in turn could calm her down. Right? Being able to share this with someone and have a little bit of a community to say, hey, this worked for me, what worked for you? I want to know your guys' strategies. So if you have any bright spots for managing your stress and talking to that logical side of your brain when the emotional one wants to take over, please tell them to me. Okay? And if you enjoyed this, please drop me a line and tell me what you enjoyed. Okay? I appreciate you. Thank you for spending your time, your energy, your attention, your effort with me today. Keep moving and keep getting better every day.